Tennessee 70, Auburn 65. Auburn's third loss in its last four games, and now the Vols are going to the SEC Tournament Championship game where they will take on Florida. How is Tennessee able to do this, Riley?
Zakai Ziegler, his impact on both ends of the court, I thought he like completely put his stamp on this game, and it just made me think that like the way Tennessee has been playing over the past week, I think we buried them a little too early. Like I thought, okay, like Chaz Lanier isn't Dalton Connect, they're gonna fade after that loss to Ole Miss, which maybe I overreacted to that a little bit because it came right after the Bama home, the Bama win at home on the buzzer beater from Meshack, and they turn around, they lose on the road by 2 points, and it felt like okay, it's Tennessee. We've seen them sputter like throughout the month of January. They aren't this elite team that had a brief stint at number one like we thought they were. Since then, I mean, they've won every game. I guess I was about to say they won every game by double digits. They were up double digits for most of this one. This is the only one of of this 3 game winning streak in single digits. But yeah, I feel like we exaggerated their demise a little bit. Ziegler to me was such a difference maker in this one. I go back to that block he had toward the end of the first half, where it just highlights like someone his size should not be able to make a play like that. That block he I can't remember whose 3 point shot he blocked, but it was just like wait, that was Ziegler. That wasn't Meshack. That was Ziegler. Like it just
Yeah.
epitomizes everything he is as a player. And just to kind of see him refine his groove and to see him like click simultaneously with Lanier. I know Lanier only had 12 points in this one, but still to see those two kind of get in the groove together, it kind of has me back into believing in the ceiling of this Tennessee team.
Yeah, like usually to win a game like this, you would think Chaz Lanier needed to produce at a high level.
Right.
And he was efficient, but he didn't. They got that from Jordan Gainey
Hmm.
off the bench, which was certainly good, and it kind of made up for that. But the front court didn't play very well. Like it was Zakai Ziegler willing this team. Jordan Gainey making plays off the bench. It was 8-8 from the 8 of 8 from the foul line. Um, those were the margins, and Tennessee won this game with their defense. I'm glad we led with Tennessee because
Hmm.
Tennessee deserves a lot of credit for this win. Like they went out and won this game. Auburn did not lose this game, but I think moving forward, the more interesting conversation is about Auburn.
And I believe did you have some stats you want to get off about Auburn?
Couple of different things, and if you've been following along the SEC tournament, I've kind of brought this up a number of times. Auburn is sensitive when they lose on the glass. Like they are very vulnerable when they do not win the rebounding battle. They lost three of the last four games. They've lost the rebounding battle now in all three of those games. The only loss where they didn't was Duke, but it was pretty even, and Duke's a damn good team. That's the only time. And so if you can get like kind of punked on the glass,
Hmm.
or if you can punk Auburn on the glass, you have a great chance to win. Big reason for that is Dylan Cardwell and Chaney Johnson are not playing at the same level that they were at earlier in the season. They were better today. They combined for 10 points. Again, better today, but also only 6 boards. There was a time when Janai Broom got hurt, and we were talking about it maybe not mattering as much because of the way Cardwell and Chaney Johnson were playing.
Hmm.
That's not the case anymore. You look at how Auburn has been the last like 2, 3 weeks. Janai Broom's putting up crazy numbers, and nobody else really is.
Chaney Johnson's disappearing act needs to be studied. He was someone who looked like I thought remember he had that game where he went 9 for 10 from the field when Broom was out. And
Right?
it just seemed like those easy looks that Auburn generated all season have all of a sudden evaporated late in the year and kind of happening at the worst possible time. It's like you even yesterday against Ole Miss, and I get Ole Miss is a good team, but sort of being in a dogfight with them when I mean earlier this month, even 2 weeks ago, and then for all of February, anytime they play, like they were skull dragging solid opponents night in, night out.
Yeah.
And then I don't know if you're going to get to Todd Pettiford, but he's someone his last 2 games definitely ones he wants to forget for his SEC tournament debut. 1 for 9 from beyond the arc through 2 games. Not quite
Five
the big game
points,
Hod we've been used to.
5 points total. And I wrote during the in February about how he was more important to Auburn's postseason success than Broom, partially because you know what you're going to get from Broom, but
Hmm.
also you need a guard to step up and kind of be the alpha of this guard group, right? Denver Jones is a very good player. Miles Kelly's a very good player. Chad Baker-Mazara, when he's not losing his mind, is a very good player. But none of those guys have like we're the best player on the court in this game
Hmm.
consistently. Pettiford is the only one who has shown that, and he's the one who has done it late in games against good teams. He's the
Right.
one who's won them games late in games against good teams, made the big shots late in games against good teams. If he is going to disappear, this Auburn team is going to struggle. I'm
Mhm.
not blaming this loss on Pettiford because he had really good games in the first two losses in this stretch, but there isn't help around that. And so if Pettiford's going to be a little bit off, I think this is a problem. We had talked for the entirety of the season about how Auburn was the most proven team in the country, which they are and were, and are one of the most proven teams of all time. But we stopped short of calling them like a true, or we had not hesitated to call them like a juggernaut.
Mhm.
This is like there's real cracks in this. This is not just them slipping up. This is not just them, um, not playing for something because they've already wrapped up the number one overall seed, the anti-tournament, all that kind of stuff. There are legitimate problems here, legitimate issues that other teams can exploit. Whether they will or not, I don't know. Like this Auburn team is good enough to rip off six in a row now and win the national title.
Mhm.
But I do think there are legitimate reasons to be concerned and legitimate things that opponents could potentially exploit.
Yeah, I even think about, our friend Christian or Jack Jalen, who's done some content for Sleepers before. After that Alabama game, he was like, doesn't affect my view of Auburn at all. Agreed with him completely. It's like, one
Yeah.
off, you kind of let it slide. But it just seemed like a very uninspired performance in the SEC tournament. And when you start stacking these questionable outcomes, that's where things start to get dicey. And even looking at like if you look at the heart of their conference play when they were dominating, they were regularly attempting 30 plus free throws a game. Like they were
Yeah.
usually at least getting 20 plus, like 23 plus, right in that range from 23 to 30, 32. Last three games, unless excuse me. They attempted 22 tonight, but against Ole Miss, only 15 free throws attempted. Against Alabama, only 17. Against A&M, only 15, and then 22 tonight, of course. But when Broome is missing seven, when he's going 5 for 12, you can't have Chad Baker-Mazara attempt zero free throws. Like he's one of their probably their best slasher and the I would say second best on the team at getting to the free throw line. And I know Denver Jones chipped in a little bit there, but yeah, it just was like for a again, when I think about what has made this Auburn team so good, what's made them so deadly is like how easy they make it look to get shots at the rim and how easy they make it look to look how easy they make it look getting to the charity stripe. To have a night like that and to see that being a trend now where they're just not getting those looks they once were, that's the part concerns me.
Yeah.
Even more so if Tahab Pettiford's going to hit a freshman wall at like the worst possible time.
There will be plenty of talk, both on the Supers Media YouTube channel and on heatcheckcbb.com about Auburn between now and the first round of the NCAA tournament, and probably beyond that too, because I don't think they're going to lose in the first round again. I'm going to knock on wood for you, Auburn fans. We got more to talk about with Tennessee in preview. We're going to preview them against Florida. That is up on the channel, so make sure you check that out and then like and subscribe.